What is up, YouTube? That's here. Today I'll be showing you guys a 6v6 singles battle I played on my stream a couple days ago against Calypso, otherwise known as Shawn Lu. You can see my team on the left hand side is Keldeo, Darmanitan, Thundurus, Cresselia, Azelf, and Garchomp fighting against Landorus, Tyranitar, Blissey, Latios, Rotom Wash, and Thundurus. Both of us have really good strong OU teams for the most part. You can see I have a couple lower tier Pokemon in Azelf and Darmanitan, but it's not going to slow me down. So without further ado, let's start this battle up, get right into it. And let's see who comes out ahead. I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but this is going to be a pretty long battle. It's about 33 turns. Yeah, it's a pretty long one. So we're going to see Calypso start off with his shiny Landorus Therian. You know, I really expected him to lead with this. This is just a really obvious lead, and he's going to go for a pretty useless Intimidate on my Keldeo. I did call him leading with this, so I led correctly with my Keldeo, and we see he goes for a U-turn. Now, what that does show is that he is scarfed, and then he's actually not afraid of me being scarfed. So that's pretty bold move from him on the first turn of the game. He could have just foddered that guy, but he decides to go out into his Rotom Wash and eat my Scald. Scald has a 30% chance to burn. Let's see if I get it. And I do get it, so that's actually really good. Like, I'm really happy I went for the Scald there instead of like a Hydro Pump or something, because it was pretty obvious he was going to switch or U-turn anyways. So we see that I do residual damage with the Scald Burn at the end of the turn, and I'm just going to stay in. I might as well. This is an Assault Vest Keldeo, so I can pretty much hold my own against Rotom. My Secret Sword doesn't do all that much, but we see him pop a Light Screen, and that is something you very rarely see out of Rotoms. Like, normally it's a Volt Switch, you know, Toxic, Will-O-Wisp, Hydro Pump, Trick, stuff like that. You don't really ever see the Light Screen, so when it does come out, it's actually pretty devastating. Good thing for me, though, my Secret Sword actually hits the defensive stat, so the Light Screen's not going to be doing all that much. We're then going to see him Volt Switch, but at this point, he's pretty much useless considering he's that low and burned. So he's going to switch out, the Volt Switch shouldn't really do any damage to my Keldeo, and he's going to send out his Thundurus to eat my next Secret Sword. Well, I'm not actually using Secret Sword, but you can see what I have to do. I'm going to have to switch out, and I'm going to go into my Cresselia to wall out the Thundurus. Now, Cresselia isn't always a great wall for Thundurus, it really depends on how he's built. And we're going to see him Volt Switch me, so he went for a double Volt Switch, looks like he's running a pretty good Volt Turn team, as I'm running similar one myself, and we're going to see that he is Life Orb, so it looks like he pretty much copied the same Thundurus that I use. He's a teammate of mine from Maximum Impulse Gaming, and he tends to use a lot of my sets, so it looks like that Thundurus is the same set as mine, so I can generally assume what's going to be on it. We're going to see him go into the T-Tar, though, great counter to Cresselia, and start up the Sandstorm, which pretty much means my Cresselia is going to have to get out of here. Yep, Cresselia's going to switch out. Lots of switching is going to get done in this game. That's good. That's what's going to make it take a really long time. I'm going to go into my Garchomp. Got that Sandveil on the Garchomp, and we're going to see Mega Tyranitar. I was very surprised to see this, but then after remembering his team preview, it made a lot of sense this is his Mega. So he's going to go Mega T-Tar, and he's going to use Dragon Dance, and that is actually pretty scary. Depending on how he's EV'd, he can definitely be faster than me now, and, you know, I could definitely go down in one hit, depending on what he has. But I'm going to Mega myself back. I'm going to go into Mega Garchomp, so two very uncommon Megas fighting in this game. I love Mega Garchomp, it's one of my favorite Mega evolutions. And we're going to see him come in with a +1 Stabbed Crunch on my Mega Garchomp. And it does a lot of damage, but it isn't going to take me out. We're then going to see my Garchomp go for a Stabbed Adamant Earthquake off the sheer Sand Force proc. That's what it is. Sand Force is an ability that Mega Garchomp gets that multiplies the power of ground and rock moves by 1.3 in a Sandstorm. It's actually very good in this situation. We're then going to see his Thundurus come out and hit me with a Hidden Power Ice. This is the only difference his Thundurus has over my Thundurus. I was assuming his was just like mine, which is why I stayed in. I was just keeping him honest. Like, if he wanted to bluff and go for a Volt Switch thinking I would switch, I would have caught him right there. But yeah, so my Thundurus has HP Fire, his Thundurus has HP Ice. Other than that, we're pretty much the same. Since his T-Tar is down, I can then come in with my Darmanitan and start my sweep up. He's going to go into his Rotom, but remember, Rotom is low and burned, so he's pretty much just foddering the Rotom. And I'll take a free fodder, since we're still pretty early on in the game. And Rotom is going to go down. Alright, so I take a residual damage. I'm going to probably take some Sandstorm damage. Oh, Sandstorm will subside. My bad. Sandstorm is over, and Landorus is going to come back out. Remember, this guy is Scarfed, and if he is Speed-Natured, he is faster than me. And I'm intimidated, so there's really no reason for me to stay in. So I'm going to switch out. I'm probably... I'm going to go to my Cresselia. That's definitely a good bet, even if he U-turns. And he's going to go for the U-turn, so he was very, I wouldn't say, daring again. I would just say he's very, I wouldn't call it overconfidence either. He's just very confident. There you go, just regular confidence. Going for the U-turn there. Because he knew I would go to the Cresselia. It's a really obvious choice, I guess. Since I'm about half, I'm going to probably decide to taunt this turn. Or sorry, I'm going to decide to go for the Moonlight. And yeah, he calls me, goes for taunt. Making the correct play there. Nothing I can really do except for just get my lefties going. And now he's going to Volt Switch out. He's done a lot of damage to himself with that Life Orb, man. I think it's the 4th attack he's done. Eventually I'll kill him, I guess, with just because of his Life Orb damage. And what's he going to go back into? It's going to be Blissey this time. So this is the first time we've seen Blissey, and I go for an Ice Beam because I was originally just targeting the Thundurus, and it really doesn't do any damage at all. So you see I'm going to get the lefty proc going, and he's going to get his lefties going, and this is the pretty much stall war of all time. Blissey vs Cresselia, old Gen 4 meta. I'm just going to keep Ice Beaming because I want to see what he's going to do. I don't think he's going to Stealth Rocks. I want to see if he's going to Toxic or Thunder. And he decides to go for the Thunder, the same Blissey moveset as I normally use, and it really doesn't do a lot of damage, but it does get the 60% chance to Thunder thanks to the, 60% chance to Paralyze thanks to the Serene Grace. All the while, like, I might as well just stay in. Like, there's nothing he can really do against me. Like, really, I can get Paralyzed, but, like, that's it. You see, he's then going to withdraw the Blissey, thinking he already did his job, and go into the Landorus. And I was really, really wishing that, like, he stayed in. Or, I was really, really wishing that I didn't get Paralyzed this turn. No, I didn't get it. Damn, I'm so wrong. I played this battle a few days ago. I go for the Toxic. And it is going to hit on the Landorus. And at this point, you know, like, I'm not Taunt anymore, so I can pretty much go for whatever I want, as you saw. I did use a Toxic last turn, and he's going to think he can kill me with this U-turn, but this is going to be pretty ridiculous here. He's going to go for the U-turn. It's going to leave me at 3 HP. 3 HP. All those leftovers put in work. And he's going to send his Blissey back out. Remember, his Landorus is Toxic now, so that's a pretty big deal. And now I go for a Moonlight. So things are starting to definitely run away from him. I'm definitely edging my way out of the stall battle. And I'm still going to get that lefties proc. Now remember, there isn't really anything I can do against Blissey other than Toxic it. And he's going to withdraw the Blissey, probably not wanting to eat the Toxic. And he's going to go into his Landorus again, because Landorus is already Toxic. Going to get another useless Intimidate on my Cresselia. Has those for days. And I really want to Ice Beam this guy. That would be very beneficial to me. Let's just see what he goes for. He's going to take that Toxic damage. I want to see that. So Linus is going to go for a super effective U-turn once again. At this point, like, I think he's probably going to go set up to something. He got the free switch over to Landorus because he knew I was going to use Toxic. And now he's going to switch to something he can set up with. There's his Latios. Now, Latios is definitely a threat, and I'm paralyzed, so I can't Ice Beam it. He could potentially go for, like, Calm Minds and Substitutes with this guy. So I'd rather just die here. We're going to see him Ice Beam me, and I'm really surprised he Ice Beamed me. Maybe he thought I would switch to, like, Thundurus or something. But we're having the battle of Ice Beam here. Man, my Ice Beam doesn't do anything to that guy. And he has leftovers. Seeing the leftovers on Latias makes me think it's my old Latias set from Gen 5, and I really do not want to see Substitute on there. So I'm just going to keep Ice Beaming no matter what. I'm really surprised that he's not using like a Dragon Attack though, because he has completely the full right away to do it. I'm going to be paralyzed this turn, that really sucks. But yeah, it's not like he's scarfed or anything, it's not like he's stuck using Ice Beam. He just wants to keep using Ice Beam, I guess, nothing wrong with that. Maybe he's hoping to get like a freeze on a switch or something. But I should go down to this Ice Beam. Cresselia definitely put in a good job, took about 10 turns of stall out of the game. If I wasn't paralyzed, I would have definitely played better to try to keep it alive, but it was just definitely worth foddering at this point. So now that it's dead, I'm going to come with my Darmanitan. Now, since we know that the Latios is not scarfed, I am definitely faster. We're going to see him withdraw it, probably going into Landorus, I would expect. Yep, there's the Landorus. And we're going to show him what Volt Turn's really about. He's going to get another Intimidate on me. It's pretty useful here. Second one on my Darmanitan for the game. And U-turn's going to hit. It's not really going to do all that much. Yeah, not really all that much. But it is going to let me switch, and I can take advantage of the situation from here. Go right into my Keldeo. I really like Keldeo in this situation. Keldeo is a great Pokemon. Now that his Rotom's dead, he doesn't really have any Pokemon that can wall my Keldeo. So, I'm going to double swap and go into my Azel from here, and he goes for the U-turn. I really just thought he would hard switch. I really thought he would hard switch. He decided to stay in though. Like, I guess why would you hard switch when you can just U-turn? And that was a pretty bad play from me. I was trying to get really greedy going to my Azelf there. I was like, he's not going to Volt Switch me, he's just going to switch to his Thundurus. And I guess he just switches to the Thundurus by using the Choice Scarf U-turn. I definitely misplayed there. So I foddered my Azelf for no good reason. It's definitely a misplay from me. And now that Azelf's dead, like, man, that Thundurus has taken so much damage. Just from his Life Orb. We're going to see his Blissey come out. And now that Blissey's out, I can definitely just, like, send out my Keldeo and go for a Secret Sword. But this is a really weird matchup, you know. I'm going to go for the Secret Sword. It does hit Blissey's defensive stat, so this is definitely hitting, technically it's a physical attack, but it's not going to kill. And then we see Blissey miss the Thunder. It is a 70% chance to hit, and it's, like, I'm so lucky that that missed. Like, the whole game was probably put on that missing. I'm going to then hit with the second Secret Sword, and after killing this Blissey, I feel pretty ahead now. Both his major walls are gone. He still has Latios, he still has Thundurus, he still has Landorus, but I definitely feel like I'm ahead. We're going to see Thundurus come in, and he's going to go for a Volt Switch. It is going to knock me out, I think. Yeah, if he was full HP, like defense, I think I would have lived. But the Life Orb plus probably 252 special attack and nature is going to be enough to kill me. He's taken half of his HP from a Life Orb. That's ridiculous. Alright, so he's going to come in with a Latios now. The Ice Beaming Latios. And you get a Lefty proc. I'm really surprised we haven't seen Substitute come out from him yet. And then I'm going to come out with my Darmanitan. It's very repetitive at this point in the game. Just a bunch of U-turners and Volt Switchers spamming against each other. He's going to stay in and eat my U-turn. It's going to put him in the red. That's like all leftovers damage that he's still at. And I'm going to go with my Thundurus and hope that he didn't Ice Beam me. And he did Ice Beam me, so he definitely made the correct call. There's not really that many Pokemon I have left, so that's why it was the correct call. And then more lefties. So Thundurus, yeah, that was pretty bad there. I'm just going to switch my Thundurus out. I can definitely use this later in the game. I think it was really smart to save my Thundurus there and go back into our main tank because I just expect the Ice Beam. There it is. Ice Beam Latios. All he has. So at this point, I can pretty much just use U-turn and kill it again. Or I can use Flare Blitz. Flare Blitz is definitely the better option to use here. I want to stay in, and even if you like switch to Landorus, Landorus would take a ton of damage, as well as toxic damage. So I think it was the right move to use Flare Blitz there. And if I want to switch, I can just switch now. No big deal. But we're going to see the Landorus come in. And remember, he is toxic, so any amount of turns I can keep him stalled here is definitely in my advantage. I'm just going to go for a Flare Blitz. I feel like I'm definitely ahead here. Even though I'm intimidated, I'm really glad to know that I am faster, and it is going to take him out even after the Intimidate. I was very surprised by that. So I guess he's full sweeper mode. And then we're going to see Thundurus come in, and this is where I make an amazing play. This is his last Pokemon. So what I do is I switch out to my my Thundurus. Remember, I have my Thundurus is left at 5 HP. And I was really expecting the Thunder Wave, and there it is. Thunder Wave does no longer affect electric Pokemon. We're then going to see my Thundurus go for a priority taunt before his Thundurus can kill me with a Volt Switch or a Hidden Power. So you're going to see I am going to go down to that Hidden Power Ice, and that pretty much won me the game. Going for the taunt lets me come out with my Darmanitan, full in confidence not being able to get Thunder Wave. So I'm going to send my Darmanitan back out and go for a huge Flare Blitz in this guy's face, and he has to pretty much deal with it. He already knows that I'm Scarfed. It's no surprise that our Darmanitan is faster, and it is going to knock out this Thundurus. Alright, that was a pretty close battle. This is both of our last Pokemon, too. So, I did defeat Calypso, otherwise known as Shawn Lu, in a very close, very long game. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a pretty high-level game, other than the fact that I've completely foddered my Azelf for no reason. But I'm sure we both had a lot of fun. Like I said, this was on my stream. I played it a couple days ago. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.